that look. When I left you, I was like, Steiny Matos, I don't think he could play center field. He can't. Now all of a sudden, he's a fixture out there. Ramos, Luciano, we'll get to his fielding, but they just got an infusion of youth. I like their at-bats. They're not perfect, but what happened last week, what they did in Pittsburgh and Friday and Saturday in New York have me thinking, and I said the old version, because I feel like we're watching two versions in the early season of the Giants. And now that the youngsters came up due to injury, they found something, Steiny, and all of them, they battle. Now Brett Wisely's going I call him the Rod Carew. He's getting hits left and right. So I said to myself, oh, my God, all Farhan needs to do is watch one of these teams that might give up or wave the white flag early. Could you reunite with Kevin Gausman? Could you get Vlad? And I know I'm going shopping or Bichette, anything to go with what you have. And Steiny, right now, they're fun, they're young, and they got a damn good, what word am I looking for, mesh or balance of veteran savvy mixed with the youngsters, and it's working right now. And to beat the best team in baseball with the record, the Phillies yesterday, first game off a road trip, what's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, the
bullpen, we'll get to that. But
I heard an interview with Bob Melvin yesterday, and Andy Baggerly, the Athletic, asked him, which team do you like? The first team that played this year with the veterans, or kind of the second team that's been a lot of the young guys? And he had an interesting answer. He said the third team is the one I like, and that's the one where they get everybody healthy and the young guys contribute. The question is, who's going to be here and who's not going to be here once Conforto and once Slater and once Nick Ahmed get back, and they're all apparently getting closer. It's going to happen in the next week or so. So,
is that a good problem?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what happens with Luciano, what's going to happen with Ramos. It looks like Matos is going to play center field, and he's just going to be their center fielder. But I don't know who stays and who goes. I don't know if Luciano plays most of the game and then Ahmed comes in defensively at the end. But he's made 3 errors in the 9th inning of games in the last 5, and
on routine balls, Steiny.
Exactly.
He can go get it, but the ones that are routine, they hurt. But I'll tell you this. Our own Mark Willard said before the season started, why is everybody talking about second place? And the Dodgers got off to a great start, still in first place, but they got a current losing streak going right now. And Steiny, I'm looking at this team now, the Giants, 5 games back of the Dodgers. And I know it's still relatively early, but there's just a newness, a swag, and an excitement factor that's kind of just manifested in the last 2 weeks. And I can't remember a fielder having the week that Matt Chapman just had in Pittsburgh and New York.
They made an error yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. We was like, hey, you know what? You got a couple more of those, buddy. But Steiny, I mean, he looks like Brooks Robinson, or he did. So you got to be happy, man. And he's hitting the ball.
No doubt about it. How are you feeling about your Giants, Giants fans? And I'm not just talking about this year. I mean, I was trying to think. I mean, is this as good as Giants fans have felt since the 107-win team?
Oof.
And even that 107-win team, did you kind of like that team more than you like this team, or does this team more likable? It feels like this team's got some players that you can get behind a little bit, and guys that may be here for a while. So the Giants right now, 9-2 over their last 11. Only downside is Lamont Wade Jr. got hurt yesterday, pulled a hamstring, so he's probably going to be out at least 10 days, you would think. He's going to go to the 10-day IL.
The way it looks, Steiny, can I just say, I'm not a doctor, and I know you're not. The fact that it's not a knee is good news.
Well,
because I didn't know if it was his knee. I was like, oh, man, he might really be done.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks ago, this team didn't have an identity. Two weeks ago, this team had no pizzazz, and now it looks like they found a little something. There's no doubt about it. 888-957-9570 is your number. This is from the 707, lifelong Giants fan, and this is from the Xfinity Mobile text line. But I'm being hesitant because it's a small sample size.
But it's a better size than the sample we had early, right?
Well, let's see what happens the rest of this series.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens against the Yankees. Then they got the Diamondbacks. Then they got the Rangers. So
it's baseball.
I mean, they went 4-2 against the Mets and the
Pirates.
You know,
they're never done.
Two great teams.
Yeah, they were down 4 runs in the 8th twice, Steiny, and came back. Only 3 other teams have done that in the history of the game.
Yeah. Okay.
1932 Cardinals. What do you know about them?
They probably had Ty Cobb.
I don't know. 61 Red Sox. What you know about them?
61 Red Sox must have been. It's probably
I wasn't here.
Carl Yastrzemski's rookie year, maybe.
And the 99 Marlins. Yeah. Jack McKeon,
Marlins.
maybe. I don't know. But I'm excited to watch every night at 6:45, Steiny. Like, that's changed. And it's a good feeling. I was like, okay, it's Niners. Baseball will get us to football season. But now all of a sudden, the Giants, they've awoken.
Yeah, the question is can they keep it up? And, I mean, I just don't. I look back at the Dodgers game. We came in here after they lost 10-2. They were 19-25, and we were talking about getting rid of Farhan.
Yeah.
What about Melvin? How's he been doing?
Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, there were questions all around, and the fact is they've done what we really should have expected them to do. That is, Chapman got hot after a slow start. Solaire's starting to hit a little bit. The only guy they got to get going now is Blake Snell.
Yeah, not a good one for him again yesterday.
Not at all.
Yeah. And I won't give excuses, Downey. I'm not here for that. But, he didn't have a spring training for whatever that's worth. And if you look at his career numbers, June is his month, But even with Webb against the Pirates, you want your ace because he is the Giants' ace. You want that to be kind of and baseball's a tricky game, but you got to get run production and all that stuff. But when Webb pitches, Donnie, it's not, you could just put a win in the column for the Giants, regardless if it's how effective he is or the run support. But, I mean, Snell needs to get going here soon.
So this is an unbelievable stat. In Snell's starts, he's made 7 starts.
I got it. Go ahead.
No. He hasn't made 7 starts.
11.
He's made like 4.
Yeah.
Well, no, his place in the rotation has come up 11 times.
Yes, sir.
And they're 0-7 in those games.
Yikes.
That he's either started or that was his spot in the rotation and somebody replaced him. So the last 4 games, though, even though they haven't pitched well in that spot, they've won their last 4 games. And obviously the starting pitcher got no decisions there, but that's why they're 0-7. But they've won their last 4, and in each of those 4, they've come back from a deficit to get it done. So, I mean, this team was not hitting 2 weeks ago, and now it's hitting, and it's coming from behind, and it's scoring runs. And the question is, can they keep it up?
Yeah.
I mean, can they keep this up, and is this more of who they are, or are they the team that started 19-25?
Yeah, I was reading the I believe it was Baggerly Steiny. He was pondering the question, who's the Giants all-star right now? I know it's early, but that would be one Wade Lamont Jr., batting .330 in this era of baseball and leads Major League Baseball with a .472 on-base percentage. So Lamont Wade Jr., Steiny, his at-bats are professional. He's clutch, and it seems like that clutch factor, Brett Wisely against the Pirates, against the Mets Saturday, I mean, he's on one, and I'm just telling you, baseball's a fickle game, but I just can't get over what you led with 2 weeks ago where Giant fans were at and how you feel about them now.
Well, I mean, I do think there's a...
And they're one game. I had one friend say they're one game over 500. But you have to watch the movie from the start to kind of appreciate the one game over 500. I'm not dare telling you or anybody out there print up the World Series tickets, and those come from behind losses, Steiny, you were down, but you pulled it out, so you kind of don't want to live on the edge like that. But, you got to give them credit for not dying.
Well, there's another aspect to this, too, and to me, it reminds me a little bit of the Golden State Warriors when they were winning this season. And Pierce Evans on the YouTube chat.
What'd he say?
They're 7-14 against teams that are over 500.
Oh, that old
the Giants.
Yeah.
and they're 21-13 against teams below 500. So
they get some over 500s, 2 more tonight, and the Yankees coming in, they could fix that.
Well, it's going to take more than 2 series to fix it.
You're
if
right.
You're 7-14.
You want to get off to a good start, and they did that yesterday.
So, I mean, you're right, Andis Brown. Bohm was terrible yesterday. Third baseman for the Phillies, and I got him on my fantasy.
He got nice
team.
hair. I'm in last place in mine. I'm done.
I thought you were in first.
I was. It just injuries.
No.
Yeah.
Who plays first base now for the Giants without Lamont?
It's got to be Wilmer Flores, right? Who's got 1 home run on the season, Steiny?
Yeah. But they got a little shortage of left-handed bats.
And that's why Brett Wisely's emergence is big.
Yeah, maybe he'll end up playing for some first base for the Giants. But 888-957-9570 is the number. The San Francisco Giants, they're putting something together right now. They're 9-2 over their last 11. And my question to Giants fans is, how are you feeling about this team now, but not just this year? I'm talking about in the past. Does this 2-week stretch from the San Francisco Giants give you more optimism than at any time in the last couple of years? And I get the team won 107 games a couple of years ago, but it never really felt like that team resonated. We all seem to think that was a temporary thing, and the players that were producing weren't going to be around forever. But this team right now has got some guys under contracts that are more than 1 or 2 years. Talking about Soler,
yeah.
And then they have the influx of young guys. So how you feel about the Golden State? How you feel about the Golden State Warriors though right now, Goo?
Evan shared with us as a report out there that they're shopping Wiggins, and I'm like, yeah, the water's wet. They've been doing that for 2 years, but we'll see how that goes. But Steiny, I can't watch an NBA playoff game not thinking about them. I just can't. So we'll see what happens here in the near future. But I believe the title of the jam for the Warriors front office will be, we owe Steph something, and let's see what we can do to get him something to kind of ride this out and give him another chance at number 5. Give them another chance at their 5th chip.
We talked about a lot last week when you weren't here. It was Draymond Green talking about he's okay if they don't win for the next 5 years.
I heard that.
Now, what'd you think?
Yeah, I didn't like it, but that sounds like a guy that's content. But I'll give Draymond this: he's been spectacular, and as unfair as I think he's.
When's he been spectacular?
On TNT during this playoff run. He's him. He is kind of like Bill Walton, but Bill never had an agenda. Draymond's agenda to me is making Rudy Gobert take jabs at him anytime he can, and Gobert's giving you that. But Draymond's Draymond, Steiny, and when you watch him and he articulates his opinion on what's going on, he called out your guy Finchie for not making any adjustments.
Okay.
I had to throw that at you. I don't know how much Evan and the guys were giving that to you, but Minnesota's been in every game.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go again. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Now all of a sudden they should have been the favorites, and they're choking because everybody thought they were going to win 3 months ago. Please.
Yeah. Big game tonight.
No, it's not.
Well, it is if you want your season to keep going.
I mean,
you need a win.
Nobody's ever come back from 3.
I hate that. That's not good.
0-156.
Yeah, wow.
The series is over. Nothing to be ashamed of. Their superstar is 22 years old. What do you want? The other team's got a 25-year-old superstar who's been a pro for 10 years. Kyrie Irving.
Man.
30s in his prime. Nothing to see here with the Timberwolves. I love it, though. Now, Steiny, your boy Finchie looks like a deer in headlights.
Hey, lay off. Yeah, lay off.
Yeah, he's a deer in headlights. Okay. Yeah, now Pacers, every team that's been eliminated right now stinks.
Yeah.
That's what that's what we talk about. So, the Giants though, they're going to start an opener probably tonight, so we don't even know who they're going to start against the Phillies. Philly's going to start Zach Wheeler, former Giant, and Nice crowd at the stadium yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And 415 says it's World Series or bust. How about playoffs?
Yeah, it was a sellout like yesterday too, Steiny. So the place is packed. You got what you want. And I know Farhan maybe didn't draw it up at the board on the board like this for guys to go down to bring up the youngsters, but it's like a smorgasbord in regard to if you want to see what was on the farm in Sacramento, you got that. You got Chapman doing his thing. And I just wonder, when the guys come back like Conforto, how that plays out and who kind of is the odd man out, or if Matos or Ramos, are regulated to, playing 2 or 3 times a week if they're not in the everyday lineup. So we'll see how that works and affects their performance too.
Yeah. 888-957-9570 is the number. The San Francisco Giants, quite frankly, have turned their season around in the last 2 weeks. They were 19-25 after they lost Game 2 of a 3-game series to the L.A. Dodgers, and right now they're a game over 500. They're 9-2 over their last 11. They're getting good starting pitching. They're getting contributions from their young players. They're getting veteran players to start to come around, Chapman most noticeably. And the question I have for Giants fans are, how much different do you feel now than you did in 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, rather? And do you think you're watching something that you could get behind for the rest of the season? Is this the kind of team you think you can get behind for the rest of the summer? Or is it just, a team that's winning some games and they'll probably regress probably to the mean at some point? But is there anything special about this Giants team that the fans see right now? What and if so, what is it? What is the upside of this team? What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario?
Yeah, and I'll say this to that, Steiny. Outside of the short sample size, I do get that. If we did have a caller from Giant fans that weren't on board, what excuse outside of the short sample size could you be using not to get behind this team? Because again, version 1 coming out of spring training, I had this team making a wild card, and we know the whole thing behind the history of the wild card. You're never out of it if you don't really stink. But now they got something. I feel like they got guys, especially the young ones, playing with a chip on their shoulders, something to prove. So you figure if Snell can get back on his horse to go with Webb and Harrison and Doval in the bullpen, you got some action.
408, is this true? From the 408 on the Xfinity mobile text line. For the record, yesterday's game was a sellout because 20% of the fans were Philly fans. That's from Philly in the 408. Yeah, anyway you get it done. They still had 40,000 there. And you know what? They're probably going to have big crowds all week, I would think, with the Phillies and the Yankees in town. So there you go. 2 more against the Phillies, 3 against the Yankees. All five of those games are at home. 209, I'm loving it. And to me, it's still fire Farhan Zaidi. I believe it's all Bob Melvin now, and he's making his own lineups, and he's going with his gut feeling.
That's kind of unfair.
I mean, if you're going to criticize Farhan 2 weeks ago, you got to give him credit right now.
Yeah, I'm in that
bringing
line.
The young guys up.
Yeah, I'm in that. I mean, you had to, but I'm in that line. And the bottom line, Steiny, is it's working. Right now, it's working. And the dudes are answering the bell. Yeah. The youngsters.
No doubt about it. Austin Slater's coming back from concussion pretty soon. What?
No, you looked at
center fielder, left fielder.
I tell you what, I'm Matos. Just keep going, keep running them out there. If I'm Slater,
well, Matos is fine.
Okay,
I think Matos. I think
but he's got some great at bats. Plays a good left field. Luciano is the one. I don't know where you and Evan were with the Airs. You can't hide him unless you put him in the DH position, and right now that's Solaire's spot. So what do you do with Luciano? This is not a Pony League, Steiny. It's not tryouts. Where do you kind of hide him?
I play him for the first 6 or 7 innings probably at short, and then I might have to get him out of there.
All right. We've seen that in baseball.
You can't. I was listening to FP Santangelo on Friday, and he's he's worried about Luciano.
Wow.
He said he'd rather have a good fielding shortstop than a good hitting shortstop. He said your foundation's got to be defense when you're a shortstop.
And it seems like in baseball, Steiny, the ball defines the guy that might be having